Hey everybody, this is Sarah Harnish. I'm a Young Living Diamond. I'm the author of the Game Plan book, the complete strategy guide to go from starter kit to silver, and you are on leader training, how to run a game plan boot camp. This is not the actual boot camp video. The boot camp video was posted a little bit earlier today, so you can go pop on and check that out. I might look a little different than I normally do. It is because I'm en route to Chicago right now, and I'm actually shooting a video inside my van. I've got my 17-year-old son driving. Check that out. Except he's not driving right now. There he is. Isn't he so handsome? Look at him. He's not driving right now. We pulled over to a gas station so we could actually shoot this thing for you guys. But I just want you to know we're committed. We're in it to win it. And I'm sticking with you guys. I'm going to be in Chicago this weekend, and then next weekend I'm home for 30 hours. Then I go to New Orleans, and then I'm home for 30 hours, and I go to South Florida, and then I'm home for a couple of days, and I go to Minnesota. So it's going to be a crazy week for me. So I'm going to keep this kind of tight because we are on the road and we're not due to get into our hotel in Ohio till 1:30 in the morning. But basically, why am I posting 2 videos a day? If you just popped on and you've never really figured out why there's doubles every single day, it's because the ones that I'm posting were shot in July. There's no reason to reshoot that content. It perfectly follows the second edition book, and it's exactly what you guys need for the 12 days of boot camp. But I wanted to take some time before I set boot camp or game plan on a shelf and really dug in 100% into Unstuck. I wanted to take some time and make sure you knew how to run this with your team. So I'm shooting these little parallel videos for the 12 days. They're not very long. They're not full boot camp videos, but I'm shooting these little videos for leaders to show you guys how to do this thing, because I've been running these with my team now for 20 months. And we took our OGV from 274,000 to 731,000, and we're now on the very edge of Crown Diamond because of running consistent boot camps and training 2 to train 2. So I know that it works. I know that it works, and I just want to share with you how I do it. So basically, when I'm running a boot camp, I go to the oilabilityteam.com website and I grab the video, which is right under boot camp. It's under the Getting Started tab, and all 12 videos are there for you. And now we've been adding write-ups for each video, so you don't even have to think about what you want to say. You literally just copy it and paste it right in. I post the video. There's leading questions asked, so you're going to respond to their questions. And then they have homework, so they got to read 2 chapters of game plan every day. And the chapters aren't too terribly long. It's usually maybe 10 or 15 minutes of reading. And then they have to do 2 sets of worksheets every single day as well, and that's where the accountability really comes in. So today's day 5. Thank you for hanging with me. We are going to do it tomorrow as well. I'll be in Chicago tomorrow night, right after teaching a 100-person class. And then we're going to take Sabbath off. We're not going to do a boot camp training on Sunday, but we'll pick back up again on Monday and go for the next 6 days. So if you're watching this live, that's what that means. If you're watching this on my website and it's after the fact, disregard everything I just said, because it doesn't matter. You can do whatever you want with this training. If you want to post 1 a week, if you want to post 2 a day, if you want to binge it and post them every hour for a weekend, we've had leaders do that. We've had them use this content for retreats before. I've had people do it every other day. I've had them do 3 videos a week, 1 video a week. Some leaders have chosen to piecemeal it out over a year and do 1 video a month, and they just keep game plan in their team all year long, team-wide. So there is no wrong way of doing this. You can run boot camp however you want. If you want to shoot your own videos, you can shoot your own videos. It's totally okay. My feelings are not hurt. I'm never going to know. But if your team is blessed, then do it the way that you think they're going to grow the most. My goal was just to give you good, solid content so that you had something that you could take and really run with your team, and they're all going in the same direction. And you don't have people off building oils racks and making diffuser necklaces and opening retail storefronts, when what grows your team is connecting with people, building relationships, oiling them up, having sales of starter kits, getting them on essential rewards, and then out of that, people seeing wellness, purpose, and abundance, and some pursuing the business. So that's how you grow a team. And whether you do that through vendor events or through one-on-one in-person classes, or whether you do it through Facebook live videos or Instagram, it doesn't really matter how. It's just that you do it and you're building those relationships. There's no wrong way. If you learned anything from the training yesterday, there's no wrong way of building this business, as long as it leads to kit sales and it leads to ER. All right, there's no wrong way. So that was chapter 8 and 9. Now today we're going to be doing chapter 10 and 11 in game plan. So if you're following along in the second edition, we're on page 113 for chapter, I'm sorry, we're doing chapter 9 and 10 tonight. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 9 and 10. And so chapter 9 basically walked you through the anatomy of a class and what a class looks like. So I'm going to be teaching a class tomorrow in Chicago for my team. I'm driving out because those are my legs 5 and 6 for Crown. So it's not a game plan event. It's me just teaching classes. I'm a diamond, almost Crown diamond, and I'm out there teaching classes just like you guys are, because if you stop teaching, you're going to stop growing. All right. 80% of your business is all in the prospecting and bringing new people in. So you think that you had diamond and you don't have to teach anymore, and that's not true. All right. It's absolutely not true. So I walk you through what I do during my classes. And basically, I get a diffuser going at the beginning if the room is small enough for them to enjoy it. And I start by sharing my story with oils. And then I read through the 101 script. I've taught probably over 500 or 600 101 classes now at this point. 288 when I wrote game plan, took 288 to get to diamond for me. So if you have a team of 10 or 15 people, you probably just haven't taught enough classes yet, right? Got to get out there and keep teaching them. And so I grab the script. I read the script. Tomorrow I'll be grabbing game plan and I'll open the book up and I'll read it right out of the book. And then I close with the bold close, and I always have flip kits there that people can grab on their way out the door. And I have a laptop in the back of the room where they can sign up as well. And I love to put little education bundles together for them to take with them so they can continue to learn. And most importantly, I give them Fearless, and I give them the Fearless calendar. That's how I teach my classes. I have taught a 101 class in 11 minutes before. And I've taught a 101 class that went 5 hours before. So it just depends on your crowd and how many questions they're asking and what they want of you and how into it they are and how quickly they need to get out the door. But the biggest thing is you're sharing your story and you have that really powerful close. Most people shy away from the close because they're worried about being salesy. But when you do that, you just taught a class for nothing, for no reason, because they're going to leave and they're going to go purchase from somebody else. All right. So that was just a recap of yesterday's content. Now today we're jumping into chapters 9 and 10. So anatomy of a class is chapter 9. Chapter 10 is all on follow-up. And I realized there wasn't a very solid, strong system in Young Living for follow-up. So after I wrote game plan, because I didn't find a very strong system for developing leaders either that was consistent, that had everything in one place, that was more than just income producing activities, that explained the ins and outs, especially for most of us are moms and we don't know what the words OGV and PGV and all this other stuff are. Many of us have never done a network marketing business before, but we do believe in freedom and we love oils and we love clean living. And so we have all that in common, but we don't speak the language. And so that's one of the reasons why I wrote game plan. But I found after I released it that there wasn't anything very simple for training on the lifestyle. And so I felt very convicted that we needed to have a lifestyle book. So I wrote Fearless, and Fearless is done phenomenal. I haven't even checked the numbers on it in the last 6 months, but I know the 6 months before that we sold 500,000 books. So we may be well over 1 million Fearless books by this point too, just like Game Plan sold 1.5 million. But basically what I do in Fearless is I outline first the why of the lifestyle. Like, why do you even need oils? They don't care about reading an oil book if you don't tell them the why. All right, the why is the most important thing that you're going to train anybody on because it hits their spiritual core. It doesn't you're not just throwing facts at their face. All right, it's not just a testimony. It's the why for their family, right, and what it's going to mean for them. You bring it back home again. And so I start with my story. I don't remember whether I outlined this in boot camp or not, so I'll just tell you real quickly. But I got my first migraine headache when I was 12 years old, and I had migraines for 24 years. Bad ones, really, really bad ones. Almost every month I ended up in the ER, and I would get a migraine cocktail of 3 different drugs that they would give me intravenously. My face would droop. I had weakness on my right side. The pain was debilitating, and my body would respond with tremors and with shaking. And diarrhea, and it was just awful. I was photosensitive to everything. I couldn't keep anything down, sometimes not even water down. And I lived like that for over 2 decades. And I've been to 13 different neurologists. I've been on 16 different families of migraine medicine. And every single one I went to, every person I went to was just, well, oh, you feel this way? Well, here's something for pain. Oh, you feel this way? Well, here's something for inflammation. Oh, you feel this way? Well, here's a steroid. Here's this, here's that. Let's give you some codeine, let's give you narcotics. Let's give you anything to try to help minimize the, what you're feeling from the migraine. But nothing got rid of the migraine. And I remember by like neurologist 11, 12, 13, I would sit down and I'd be like, how about we get to the root cause of this? Like, is it hormones? Is it triggered by my cycle? Like, what's going on? Is it something I'm eating? What do I need to do to eradicate this stuff? And every single one is like, oh, no, just take a pill for the pain. Here's this. And nobody actually looked for the root cause. And so I started tracking it myself. I kept food journals, and I cut MSG for several months, and that didn't get rid of them. And I cut caffeine, and that didn't get rid of them. And I cut chocolate, and that didn't get rid of them. And, I tried cutting sugar, and that didn't get rid of them, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. And finally, the last neurologist I went to, he started doing yearly MRIs, and what he found was that the blood vessels in my head, on my brain, were swelling every time I had one of these things, and it would press against my skull, and it would just cause these little tiny pinprick brain bleeds, these very small ones. And when I would go in for the MRI yearly, they'd find about 30 to 40 spots on my brain of dead tissue just across the surface of my brain. And he told me, he said, Sarah, we have to stop the inflammation. It's got to stop, because you're 30 years old and you are at extremely high risk for catastrophic stroke. He goes, I'm talking the kind of stroke where you have it and you're a vegetable the rest of your life. He goes, your kids are 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. Like, we have to stop the swelling. We have to. And so he wanted to put me on a steroid and which would have been the anti-inflammatory pain medication, something to stop the throwing up, and a host of other drugs. There were 6 of them I was going to have to take. And we lined it all up on the counter, and I looked at it, and it was going to be a drug every 2 hours for the rest of my life. And I'm looking at just the steroid alone had 2.5 pages of warnings on it. And I'm like, I don't have a peace about this. That steroid, just the steroid had all these warnings for heart damage. And I was born with a bad heart. My tricuspid valve, it leaks. So I've got a tricuspid regurgitation. So one of my big valves in my heart backflows. And I've got a very, very, very strong heart murmur as well. So my heart occasionally beats out of rhythm. And I'm like, I really don't think that this is a good thing to take if it's going to cause heart damage, right? It's like I'm choosing between a heart attack and a stroke. And so I took it back to him, and he said, yeah, you are, but if you have a stroke, then you're gone. Or a heart attack, you're gone. But if you have a stroke, you watch kids grow up, but you don't actually get to interact with them. And I think that would be worse. And I remember looking at him going, who are you to decide that for me? Like, I'm not okay with that. I'm not all right with that. And that basically was my closed door on the medical system, because for 24 years, I had tried everything I knew how to do correctly. I followed stuff to a T. I was a good listener. I took directions, and it was still just chasing symptoms. And I said, no, I can better than this. I know I can. So I started researching and using my news background to see if there was anybody out there that had been cured of migraines. And I stumbled on a neurologist who was out of Russia. Her name was Natasha Campbell McBride. And she had written a diet that was written for autistic and ADHD kids, because she found that every kid with autism that came into her office had some issue with their gut. So either digestive issues or food allergies or whatever. And she believed there was a link between the brain and the gut. What she did inadvertently was help people cure things that were digestive and neurological in nature, not just kids with autism. So people with migraines and people with ADHD and people with mental health issues and people with food allergies and eczema and psoriasis and IBS and Crohn's disease, all of them were getting cured by changing their diet, by changing the foods that they ate. And so I went on her diet. I said, what do I have to lose? And I cut sugar, gluten, and dairy from my diet 6 years ago. And 1 month after I did that, I went 30 straight days with no pain, but I still had the drooping in my face. And the second month, I had no drooping and no weakness, and I had no pain. And January 18th, so today is the 11th, so I'm 7 days away from my anniversary, marks 6 years. I believe 6. I'm losing track now because we're getting so far out. But it's been more than half a decade since I have had a migraine headache. And I'm really excited to say I cured the whole thing with food, everything. And that's a 24-year suffer of debilitating migraines causing basically mini strokes, brain bleeds on the surface of my brain. And I was able to get rid of them. And you know what I realized? It was the garbage, right? For my whole life, I had eaten everything out of a box or can. Breakfast was Pop-Tarts. It was sugared cereal. Lunch was sandwiches with enriched bread, and chips and chocolate milk with corn syrup in it. And dinner was Hungry Man meals and DiGiorno pizzas and frozen burritos and frozen chicken Kievs from Aldi. And, everything I ate was out of a can or a box. I literally wasn't getting any fruits. I was getting no vegetables, no kale, no greens. I was on no supplements, and I did irreparable, I don't want to say totally irreparable because I reversed the migraines, but near irreparable damage to my gut. And that was after 30 years of eating like that. And so when I went no sugar, no gluten, no dairy, I had to completely relearn how I cooked and how to take care of my body. And I lost 60 pounds. My husband lost almost 100 pounds. His eczema was gone. My son with dyslexia, who couldn't read for 7 years, within 2 months on GAPS was able to read. So it helped his brain. His brain to heal. My skin cleared up. I had really, really bad candida cysts. I had 70 or 80 cysts on my face all the time, but because I cut sugar, I got rid of the candida on my face and across my shoulders and down my spine. So, I can't even tell you. John and I made a list once of what eating good did for our family. We cut over 100 ailments out of us, just the two of us and our 5 children, like 100 different things that we saw. Improvement in my daughter's thyroid and weight loss. It was just crazy, and it all goes back to one ingredient foods, and oils are just an extension of that. Okay, just an extension. So am I saying that modern medicine is bad? No, not at all. What I'm saying is, why would I go into the store and get cough syrup that's got 5 different kinds of dye and a week's worth of sugar in it when we know that sugar feeds bad bacteria that's making you sick, right? It's going to make you sick longer because it's literally the bacteria's food that's making you sick, all right? Why would you go and buy that and give it to a kid who's down on the ground, whose immune system is hit, and they're trying to fight something off? You're going to load their body up with 5 kinds of dye and a week's worth of sugar by giving them cough syrup every 2 hours. Or you can go grab Thieves cough drops, right, which are for coughs, specifically. It says it right on the outside of the package, so I'm not saying anything non-compliant here. And you give that to them, and there's no dye in it, and there's no sugar in it, and there's nothing in it that's going to hurt their little body. All it's going to do is give them a good immune system boost so that their body can do its own fighting. And it does it without all of the garbage in the bottle. And so if you can communicate that to the people that are in your classes, right, if you can communicate that, the importance of one ingredient foods, one ingredient medicines, right, the things that you're using in your home, stuff that you know what it is, that you know how to pronounce it. You're not poisoning your family by, spraying your kitchen counters down and, giving them poison for food or poison for medicine. All right. Because there is poison for medicine, but giving them all of that stuff, that's not the best choice. And so it's all about making better choices. And does it mean you have to be perfect the first day? No, guys, it took me 12 years to get pop out of my house. 12 years to get soda pop out of my house. So we weren't instant. We were not an instant family. It took a very long time for us to relearn behaviors. But now my kids get up every day and they make a smoothie for breakfast. We've ditched all the sugar cereal. If they have cereal ever, it's einkorn. Like we really don't do cereal much in our house at all. My kids go upstairs. They grab like 6 cups of kale and spring greens and put them in our Vitamix, and they put a little frozen fruit in. They don't even add honey or maple syrup. They don't sweeten it at all. They put an avocado in there, a little bit of Berkey water, and a couple scoops of pure protein complete, and that's my kids' breakfast every single day. They've learned to drink green smoothies, or if they're feeling it, they'll go make some juice, and we'll get our juicer out and we'll put celery and kale and greens and stuff in there and make it 80% vegetable juice and 20% fruit juice, just enough to take the edge of the kale off. And my kids know how to run the juicer, and they know how to run the Vitamix, and they didn't even know what a Pop-Tart was. They don't even know what pop is. Like, they don't drink it. They don't even know. My little guy came up to me and goes, "Mom, what's an asprin? I've never heard of aspirin." And I said, we're doing something right if you've never heard of aspirin. If you're 12 years old and your 14-year-old brother don't even know what that is, then we're doing something right. So Fearless is not a book that's anti-medical. It's not anti-pharmaceutical. There's nothing in there that bashes the medical world. I've got a lot of nurses on my team. My sister's a nurse. My best friend's a nurse. So we're not bashing the medical system. But even those in the medical system know to look at ingredients. Even they know to flip the bottles over and read it and be more cognizant of the things that they're putting in their body. And so that's what Fearless trains. I took a lot of beating on it, saying, "Sarah, why didn't you just make a book on the starter kit? Why didn't you do that?" Because they still don't understand how to use it. They're not going to pursue it, and they're not going to pursue education if they don't understand the why of why that stuff has got to get out of their house in the first place. And so all of your follow-up centers around the why. I know Fearless is a wordy book. I could have made a book with, 50 words in it and a lot of really pretty pictures, but I wanted to convey the message that this is how you read labels. This is how you look for poison in your cabinets, and then I believe in action. You guys know that, because with boot camp, you got to watch the videos, you got to read the book, got to do the homework. And so I even expect action from people that come to my 101 classes. We give them Fearless, and then I give them a calendar and say, listen, you're either going to take this seriously or you're not. I'm hoping you take it seriously, because I want to help you get the poison out of your house, right? I really, really believe in taking care of your family. You are the gatekeeper of your home. Only you can protect the four walls of your house. And so if you haven't made that decision yet, and it's okay making a trip to Dunkin' Donuts every single morning and sugaring up your kids, or sugaring up yourself, or the Starbucks addiction every single day. Now, I'm not talking in moderation. If you're hitting Starbucks once a month, you're not going to do prolific gut damage to yourself. But if it's a daily thing, every single day, yeah, you are. And you have a bite of gluten, that stays in your system for 3 days. 1 bite of gluten. So if you have 2 bites a week, and you're one of the 92% of Americans that have gluten intolerance, then you're in a perpetual state of gluten sensitivity all the time. If you're only eating it twice a week. So you got to pay attention to that kind of stuff. And we have had so many good reviews on Fearless. It's literally thousands and thousands of people that are using it, not only to change your lifestyle, but also to change the way that they care for their family and the wellness of their family. And so that calendar is really where the action comes in, because it trains them how to read labels. It trains them how to look for the poison in their home. Now, what happens when your new oiler reads a label and they pull their kitchen counter soap out and they look at it and they're like, ugh, I just typed in dangers of in Google and I didn't like what I read about this stuff. What happens? They get on the virtual office and they order thieves cleaner, right? They get on the virtual office and they order laundry soap. I know, because we gave a substitution for every single chemical in the back of Fearless. There's literally a room by room simple swap where it says, here, let's focus on your bathroom this month. Let's focus on your laundry room this month. Let's focus on your kitchen this month. These are the dangers in your kitchen. Go read the labels on these products. Here's the Young Living equivalent to that. Here's the item number. Go get it on Essential Rewards so you get money back, right? And it trains them the lifestyle via the virtual office and Essential Rewards. So it is a game changer, because we're training them to look things up. All right, training them to look things up. So somebody just asked they need help with gluten-free recipes. I have a Pinterest page with tons of gluten-free recipes on it. There's no oils on there because I don't like putting myself in a place of danger with compliance, but there's a lot of GAPS recipes that are gluten-free that really might bless you if you just go to my name on Pinterest. So yeah, that's what Fearless is all about, and that's how I do my follow-up. Now, I give people the Fearless book. I encourage them to read it. I check in with them to make sure they've read it. I give them the calendar. When they fill that calendar out, they've had the diffuser going 30 days. They've accepted the 10 challenges. They know how to label read. They know how to research. They know how to log into the virtual office. They've watched all the Getting Started videos, like all of it. They're trained inside out and upside down, and it's free. The calendars don't cost you anything. They're up on my website, and they're totally free. All right. And the Fearless books, we print them in black and white. I've taken a lot of flack on that too, because it's not this really pretty glossy color page. But by doing that, I can print them for $1 so that you guys have cheap business tools so that it's duplicatable. If I print it in color, it's $3 to $4 a book. So how is your star going to afford $3 to $4 a book when their check is $80 a month and they can get 20 books? So they can only talk to 20 people that month if that's part of their duplicatable system, right? But if you can get it for $1, then it's duplicatable, right? Then your team can copy it and it's affordable, and your stars can't afford to be able to teach 4 or 5 classes a month or 6 classes a month. And it's not going to break the bank, and it's not even going to take their whole paycheck. They still have 3/4 of their paycheck to put in their gas tank and go teach classes. So that's the way we did it, why we did it. All right. If you ever wonder why stuff isn't printed in color, it's because my thought whenever I develop a tool is, what is it going to cost you to be able to duplicate it? Is it duplicatable on your team? Is it a valuable tool? Does it convey the message? That's why. My heart is to keep your money in your pocket so that you can take that, teach classes, and go build your organization so you can get to Diamond. John and I are not about making a profit. That's not why we do what we do at all. It has nothing to do with why we do what we do. We want to see so many diamonds on the stage that Gary Young needs a new stage. When you live in poverty and you live in the projects for 12 years, your heart is for the people. Your heart is for reaching out, grabbing their hand, pulling them up and saying, listen, you don't have to stay where you are. But nobody's going to dig you out but you. You're the only person that can dig you out of where you are. Your upline can't do it. Your downline's not going to do it. Even if you get a rock star in 1 or 2 legs, you still got to build 6 legs, right? Which means I'm driving to Chicago to go build my crown legs, all right? And my royal legs. Like, I'm still out there teaching right alongside you guys. I'm in my car. See, my son's with me. He's driving me. We got all of our supplies in the back, and I got some game plan resources for my business builders as I head out to Chicago. But I'm living the same stuff I tell you guys to do. I'm not just making this stuff up. I know what it took for me to be able to get to Diamond, and I know what it's going to take for me to be able to get to Crown, and I'm not relying on anybody's hustle but my own. If I want that rank, I get out there and go get that rank. I don't rely on people to do that rank for me, all right? So that's what chapter 9 and 10 is about. It's about the system that I use personally to build my essential rewards base. I think you need about 75% of your people on ER to be able to hold your rank, to maintain your rank. Your rank maintaining is all in essential rewards. That is the cement under your feet. It is the cornerstone to your house. So you can go and teach a boatload of classes, but if you have 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 all the way down and nobody ever gets on ER, it's as if you restart every month back where you left off the month before, right? You've got to train the lifestyle. So I hand out Fearless. I hand out the calendar. They screenshot it. They send it back to me. And when I see that screenshot, I tell them to push their ER order through, and then I gift them $25 toward their essential rewards order once I see that first order process. I invest half of my paycheck from that starter kit back into them because I believe in them, and I believe in the lifestyle, and I believe in chemical-free living. All right. Fearless truly trains the lifestyle. Do not train the starter kit. Train the lifestyle. Starter kit training means they're going to go restock their starter kit. Lifestyle training means they're going to look for poison in their home, and they're going to start using every product Young Living has. Their supplements. They're going to use the Ningxia. They're going to use the oils. They're going to use the, all the stuff in the starter kit. They're going to use all of the personal care products. They're going to start looking for poison in every cabinet. All right. And that is the secret to essential rewards, because you don't want people getting on and ordering thieves cleaner once every 3 months. You want them to know why they need Ningxia in their body, right? You want them to know all that. It's product education, and that's where Fearless comes in. All right. And that's why it's not a pretty little starter kit book, because I think we needed something more than that. All right. I think it was a missing hole in being able to explain essential rewards and the why behind oiling. So my system is give them the book, give them the calendar, have them fill it out, screenshot it, send it to me, get them on ER. Fearless strives very hard to essential rewards. Once I see their order process, send them a check in the mail for $25, and they're off and running. Then after that point, I invite them to rallies. I invite them to team classes. I invite them to classes I'm doing online where I'm training my team. I invite them to all that kind of stuff, but I'm not having that hands-on interaction with them as much as I did when I first started. Okay? All right. This may be not an appropriate question, but should we ask for the Fearless books back if they don't plan on purchasing? I was already a diamond. I wouldn't have to worry about that. You could, Mary, if you wanted to. I usually don't gift Fearless to them until they have purchase the starter kit. That's part of my follow-up system for getting them on essential rewards. I do sometimes include them in purple bags to explain the why, but it's after conversations where I feel like they're going to purchase. So you want to make sure that you're getting your money back out of it for sure. And any question is appropriate. You can ask me anything. I will never throw you under the bus for asking questions. So that wasn't actually what I wanted to talk about tonight, but apparently that was where we needed to go. So the one thing I do want to hit on with you guys as leaders running your boot camps is consistency. And the power of consistency. How do you get Fearless? You're going to go to my website. It's Oil Ability Team, OIL Ability, ABILITY, oilabilityteam.com. And there's a button that says shop. And you click on that, and you'll see Fearless under books. Okay, it's all up there. I wish I could try to post the link for you from my phone when we start driving. When my son starts driving, because I'm not driving tonight. I'm chillaxing. So tonight you're going to do chapter 9 and 10 in game plan, and you're going to do the worksheets. Sunday we're taking off, so that means you got a day to get caught up if you're a little bit behind, which is totally okay. Worksheets. There's a cool section that I added in the second edition book, chapter 9. In worksheets, where I'm asking you which actions are duplicatable, right? When you're doing your 101 classes. And I want you guys to think about this as leaders. Are there things that you are doing that are not duplicatable for your team? All right, I'm going to beat you up here just a little bit. So there's only 3 things on the list that are duplicatable. And I'm going to give you guys the answers right now. All right. Number 1, reading the 3-page script. Very duplicatable. I've taken a lot of flack on putting a script out there too. People are like, oh, just read the catalog. Just share your story. You know what? Most of us need a script. And if you look at all of the top network marketers in the world, if you look at the Tony Robbins and the Danny Johnsons and the Eric Worreys and the Richard Bliss Brooks, guess what? They all use scripts, all of them. What we were missing is Young Living didn't have one. So I wrote one and I published it. And that's what's in the back of Game Plan. And that's the script I used to get to Diamond. I wasn't teaching, oils and emotion classes and biblical oil classes. I was teaching 101 classes, because 101 classes is what builds your organization. Jody, thank you for posting that. I appreciate that. So reading the 3-page script, yeah, that's duplicatable. What about making peppermint vitality brownies or any large spread of food? Well, you got $100 of food on your counter. Do you think that your leaders are going to be able to duplicate that? So save your brownies for your leaders retreats and for your rallies and that kind of stuff. Do not do it at your 101 classes, because you're scaring your leaders away. Using a Cricut cutter to make nice designs for thieves bottles. No, that's not duplicatable, because somebody thinks they got to go buy a $200 Cricut cutter to make their classes as nice as yours look, right? Going for an aromatherapy certification. No, right? No, it's not. That is not the shortest point from A to B. My goal is to train you to get to Diamond efficiently, right? Doing an aromatherapy certification means that everybody on your team is going to go for an aromatherapy certification, and you don't need it. You just got to read the script. Yes, I do have 101 class scripts. It's in the back of the game plan book, and it's also on my website. I gave the script away for free. So if you go under the share button, you'll see textable classes, and it's there under that button. All right. Touting all your wisdom and your knowledge at the start of class. Hi, I'm Sarah Harnish. I've got 6 certifications in various fields of aromatherapy. Da 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 da. I don't even talk about that. I just say, hey, I'm Sarah. I'm a mom. I got 5 kids at home. Let me tell you about my journey with oils, right? Because you want to be relatable. Otherwise, your leaders think they got to go do all the stuff that you did to be able to be a leader. And then they're not going to do it. Right? They're not going to be able to be a leader, and you're going to scare all your leaders away. Making a poster board with tons of science of oils on it. Not duplicatable. I'm just reading it right out of the game plan workbook here. Not duplicatable. Playing fun games with lots of pieces that take time to prepare. Not duplicatable. Your leaders are out there making bingo games, okay, and going to Staples to laminate things instead of teaching classes. Instead of training their leaders and calling people and building relationships and getting them on essential rewards. That does not lead to more leaders. All your leaders think they got to go print oil bingo games, right? Don't do that. Don't do that. Just keep it tight, keep it short, get people in, get people out, build relationships, find their needs, meet their needs, right? Train them on Fearless. That's effective. That's going to get you from point A to point B. Making bingo games, not going to get you from point A to point B. And you're going to scare your leaders away that don't have the time to make bingo games, right? If they can print off a 3-page script and grab the starter kit and sit down and read it in front of 2 people, that will grow your organization. Making bingo games, not going to grow your organization. Having a premium starter kit on hand to pass around, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, for sure. Now, am I saying don't ever play oil bingo? Of course not. You can play oil bingo at your retreats and with your leaders and in fun settings and maybe at rallies and whatever you're doing, recognition and that kind of stuff. But don't do it in your 101 classes. All right, don't do it there. Showing testimony photos. Well, you're going to get burned on that, so I would be very careful. Having a store with samples that can be purchased. First off, that's against policies and procedures. It's in the tampering clause, so you cannot open a bottle of Young Living oil and then offer parts of that bottle for sale. But secondly, your leaders are going to have to dump a ton of money to duplicate that. So that's not duplicatable either. Doing a make and take with supplies, bottles, and labels that are not in the virtual office. So you got to go buy it off 5 different sites. Not duplicatable, right? Very expensive, not duplicatable. Sharing the 101 PowerPoint off the oilabilityteam.com website. Yeah, that's duplicatable. People can grab a PowerPoint and use it for free. All right, so that would be something that's duplicatable. Having a large stack of books in the front of the room where people can do their research. Not duplicatable. So now you're telling your leaders, you're conveying the message they have to buy $100 worth of aromatherapy books before they can teach classes. Right? Not duplicatable. I don't put aromatherapy books out on the table. Running paid ads on Facebook or anywhere to promote your class. Expensive, not duplicatable. Showing off oils that aren't in the starter kit. Guys, they already got 11 they have to learn right when they're first learning about oils. That's not duplicatable. Okay, so don't do that. Don't do that. Handing out folders with dozens of pages of photocopied information on oils uses. Not duplicatable. All right, absolutely not duplicatable. Training on Savvy and Thieves and Ningxia and Seedlings in the very first class and laying out products from all of those different product lines. You're going to overwhelm the tar out of your new oilers. So not duplicatable, and you're training your team that they have to buy 4 starter kits to put them out on the table. If you're teaching a Thieves class, go teach Thieves. Tomorrow night, my class is on Thieves. If you're teaching a class on Ningxia, then teach Ningxia. You don't need to put all the starter kits and all the products out because you're going to completely overload you. Nope, this is not Game Plan 3. This is the second edition of the first Game Plan book. This is the workbook and the workbook assignment that I'm giving to you guys to work on for tonight. All right. So I was going to talk about consistency tonight, but I'm not going to do that because I've talked too long. So we'll talk about the power of consistency tomorrow night. Let me flip my camera over and just show you what I was going to do here. I've got a little graphic here for you, and we're just going to talk about consistency and what that looks like on your team. But I want to ask you as a leader, are the actions you're doing, can they be copied? And can they be copied by a distributor? Can they be copied by a star? And if the answer is no, stop doing them, because you're scaring your leaders away. If you're having a hard time finding leaders, always ask yourself if what you're doing can be copied. And if the answer is no, I dial it back and I go back to the basics with the script and the kit, right? And just keep it on that very, very simple level. All right, I love you guys. Boot camp is up already. I posted it before I got in the car. So tomorrow night I'll be shooting from Chicago and I'll be there. And then Monday I'll be back in New York again. I'm kind of all over the place. And then we'll be ending boot camp while I'm in Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Louisiana. So I'm kind of all over the place, but it's okay. We're building our crown ship, and this is what you do, right? It's what you do. You love on people. You meet them where they are and you love on them. So I love you guys. I know what you're capable of. I know where you're going, right? You know where you're going. We talked about that a lot this week, about being a diamond rising and having worth, being worthy, speaking that word worthy over you as you're building your business. Now go out there tonight and do things that can be copied, right? Go do things that can be copied. That's my message to leaders this evening. So we're working through day 5, which is chapters 9 and 10. Read the book, do the worksheets, hold your teams accountable, and let's do this thing together, all right? I'll see you tomorrow night, same bat time, same bat channel. Thank you for hanging with me for day 5. Tomorrow we're halfway through. Woo, you've almost made it. I'll talk to you soon.